So I'm having this conversation with this guy, and we're talking about how he's capable of loving people,
Right.
yet he doesn't love himself, which I disagreed with because I do not think there's even a possibility of you loving somebody without you loving yourself. I don't see that.
I don't agree with that either because how can you give out something you don't have?
Right.
How can you give out love to somebody when you don't love yourself? The scripture says that love your neighbor as you love yourself, as you actually love yourself. So you can't give out from an empty cup. You can't give out something you don't have and you don't even know. So I don't believe that you can love somebody when you don't love
Okay,
yourself.
so somebody may tell you, right, that let me say, I love myself this much. So what if I'm loving that person as I love,
Yourself this much.
yeah,
I mean, you can only give out as much as you know how to love. You can only give out as much as you have because I am a firm believer of you can't give out what you don't have.
right? That's very true. Have you always loved yourself?
Yeah, I have.
Everything about yourself?
I don't even I don't want to be apologetic for loving myself, but I've always loved myself.
That's good.
Yeah, I've always loved myself from from a young age. So self love hasn't been something that I really struggled with.
Right.
Yeah. So have you like
I think I never realized I didn't love myself enough
yeah,
until I loved myself fully.
fully yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
like I did not know that I didn't, because there are people who would be like, oh, I don't love myself. I hate myself. Like I wanna do something to myself. I never
Yeah.
really got to that level.
Yeah.
I did not. I loved myself, but I did, like I loved how should I, there is a level of love that I had for myself, but I did not realize that that wasn't loving myself. Do you know what I'm saying? So the
Yeah.
way you just said at the beginning that you give out a version that you think is love,
But
but
it's
it's not
actually
actually love. So I
yeah.
had the version whereby I thought that I loved myself fully until I fell in love with
And
myself.
then you
And then I
realized
realized that okay, that wasn't really love.
yeah.
And I think it also happens in relationships. People, like, until you're loved the right way, you cannot know that that wasn't
Doesn't
love.
love yeah.
So that's the kind of version. Like I would not come out and be like, oh, I don't love myself, or I want to do something to myself, or I
Yeah.
hate myself. But it's like there's a version that I hadn't realized that I realize now, that I know that wasn't like the epitome of love. So
Yeah.
I loved myself to what I
To a
knew
certain
was
extent.
love.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's some people who actually know and know that, because like that conversation, right? There are people who know they don't love themselves.
Yeah,
Like I
they
don't
don't.
like anything about
Yeah.
myself. I do not like the way I look. I don't like the way I
Yeah.
walk. I don't like the way I talk. I don't like.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? Like it's not the full. They have no confidence in themselves. So
Yeah.
I think that you are incapable of loving somebody else.
No, I absolutely think so too because um people usually think that um like you said, I mean, there was a story that I had about you that there's a girlfriend you had that you loved so much. You threw her a baby shower. She was head over heels for you. She was pregnant. I think there were some hormones too. So she like X'd out everybody. I don't want to say hated, but there's mood swings pregnant women have. So I think the other girlfriends she had were very invisible and you were the only visible one.
Wow.
and and this story I had from a person who was secondary who didn't even know. I didn't even know you like that. I think I just heard about you. She was you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what was that? I mean, the girl was so sure you were crazy about her. But what was that?
So here,
Because that was pre Christian.
pre me loving myself the way
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
myself now.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
I
So
understand that. I understand that, but I even know the story that you're talking about. But
mhm.
here is the thing, though. So where I was getting that love, it
Yeah.
was coming from the things. The reason why I was doing those, oh, like the reason why I used to do what I do, and I still do,
Yeah.
but like this time around, it's with a better understanding. The reason why
Yeah.
I did that is because I did not get to be loved right.
Yeah, growing
So
up. Growing
so
up, yeah.
whenever I saw something that was missing in my life, I decided to do it for somebody else. I would do something I wish somebody would
They
do
do
for
for me.
me.
Oh my
But
God.
that is also not the place where we are supposed to come
Yeah, we're
from
supposed to
when we are
give from.
loving
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, I
You get what I'm saying?
agree.
So that's
Yeah.
the thing I was saying, that
Yeah.
I was giving this version that I thought was love. That seemed like it was love, because to the person who was receiving it will be like, oh my God,
Yeah.
like this girl is a lover and everything. But that's the reason why it would get really complicated,
Yeah.
because I would do it for this person, I would do it for the next person, and for the next person, and it would be confusing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was because it was coming from a place of,
I didn't get
I'm
that.
not fulfilled within me, so I would do it for other people. And people think that people who don't fully love themselves only give off negativity, but they don't. Like I was. Like this is like a totally different version
Yeah.
of the thing people don't realize. Like sometimes even people that are good, the people who do those things that look like they're good things, sometimes it's coming from a place of loneliness. So it's like you've been so alone in your life. Every person that comes and wants company, you're gonna give it to them.
Yeah.
Not because they deserve it, not because they
You
treat you
actually
right,
want to
but
give it to
because you want to
them.
give it because you don't want that person to feel like that.
Yeah. Do you think that's a trauma response
It's
too?
a trauma response. I know
Yeah,
that for sure,
that's
because
a
I had to
trauma
deal with it.
response
It's
too,
a trauma
yeah.
response. Like you give yourself so much
Yeah.
because you weren't given that thing, so you feel like you can compensate for that hole that is within you.
Yeah.
Yet you just have to deal with your trauma and be like, because you can end up giving your whole life and still
How were
not
you
feel
feeling
right.
it, giving it out? How were you feeling in your heart when you are empty? Because I'm thinking you are empty,
Right.
according to what you said, because you felt, you aren't given that. And then were you giving it out of empathy? Was just a little bit of empathy in there? How were you feeling when you're doing that? Because I know you, just to be sure, she is a crazy love bomber. I am not.
Oh,
She love
such a
bombs.
lover.
Yeah, you're a lover, but you're extra too. She's a lover, but she's extra. I'm a lover too, but you're extra. so she
No,
can
yeah.
love bomb you to Mars. Like she is a kind of person. But so knowing where you come from now, how were you feeling inside when you're giving that? Just give us a little bit of that feeling.
I felt good. I felt good, but I would never fulfilled.
Oh,
I would feel good doing it in the moment they're happy, but I would jump to the next project.
yeah, just like that. You couldn't.
And
even
my
sit
best
and
friend
take
used
it
to
in.
argue so much. Like she'll be
Yeah.
like, Sophia, like these things are always happening. And I'll be like, they're like projects to me. And the things that I don't think she really got it, but it was actually a project, because I would find the other things. It was like a high for me.
Oh, it
You
was
know
like
what I'm
a
saying?
thrill.
Yeah, it's a
Something
thrill. Like
to-
I've made her feel good. That's good. So I jump
good,
onto the
yeah.
next person. So it's like that's where I'm saying it's so impossible
Yeah.
to love somebody when you don't love. The love I give right now is
It's so
different,
different,
because
yeah.
even where I'm drawing from
yeah.
is different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
those things that we all do without the right love,
Yeah.
the right self, and I'm an advocate for love yourself before you love anybody. Discover who you are before you
Yes,
get
yeah.
into a relationship.
Yeah, I agree.
Love yourself,
Yeah.
because you are going to be able to love that person the same way, like you said in the
Absolutely.
scripture. So
Yeah.
it would feel good in the moment,
Yeah.
but it will still, because I'm still empty, I would still jump onto the next project.
Wow, that was crazy.
And somebody who wouldn't read that,
And someone who don't even
would not
realize
know.
that.
They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know it was a trauma response. They would
Yeah.
think, oh my God, she probably came from a family whereby they gave her all this much love, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
was
and,
trauma
and I feel
response.
like if you haven't even been loved the right way, you won't even realize. I think
Yeah.
if you don't know who God is,
Right.
you cannot know the meaning of love, because even sometimes people have had an opportunity of growing up in healthy homes, healthy relationships from their parents, and all these things, and having all that much love around them. And a girl like me who didn't even grow up with her dad, I didn't struggle with self-love, and I didn't have identity issues at
Right.
all, but simply because God came in and felt that part of me, and it made me very whole. So it's not even about where you grew up from, but it's about finding him, because he himself is love.
Yeah.
God is love. So if you don't know who God is, then you can't even
You can't love.
really love.
And can you imagine how many people, right, are in relationships thinking it's love and it's not, because they
Yeah.
just don't know the true definition of love.
Yeah.
how many people have this template of how love is supposed to be, but it's not actually love. It just blows my mind. And when I realized what love is, I just stuck to it, because like it just complements everything. That, imagine all the stuff I was doing it out of the actual love. You know, the impact to leave, like how much it will touch people's lives. You get what I'm saying? So, and I had one of my girls ask me like, Auntie, what template should I use to know that somebody loves me? And I think it's mentioned in 1 Corinthians 13 about love being patient, love being kind, love being, non-self-seeking and all that. Because most of the love that is given, that love I was giving was self-seeking. Because I needed validation. I needed to be accepted. I needed to be seen. It was all... I want to do the people pleasing. I want to do this so that I get something out of it, so that I can feel good about myself. I can do that. And that right there is what most people have. That's why you find somebody when they are in a relationship or in a marriage, the moment it stops fulfilling what they desired, they walked out of it. And somebody will ask, but how did we get here? We loved each other. It wasn't love
in the first place.
Like,
the foundation of everything wasn't real love. What was that moment for you where you can say that this is the moment where I realize now I really love myself with the true love of God, that the agape? Like, do you remember that moment for you? Do you have like an idea?
It wasn't like a particular moment. It was a journey of me realizing certain things about myself that I started. So I was like, okay, you know what, this is not okay. This is not the reason why I'm doing that. But it all started when I encountered God, and He changed my heart. Like I've shared that on my other podcast, like about my encounter with the Lord. That when I started that journey, I started realizing certain things about myself, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't love. That wasn't coming from a right place. That was self-seeking. And it's still a process, because for you to get to a point of ticking up the whole of 1 Corinthians 13 is crazy. It takes time. But the key is to realize those things. So I started the journey, and then I realized that it wasn't the things that I thought was love. Was love. You get what I'm saying? Yes. So I started the journey, and it's a process. Like, even for somebody who loves themselves, that loves themselves, you'll find that they can love themselves, they can be kind to themselves, or non-self-seeking, have a love that is not self-seeking, but they're not confident in themselves in a certain area of their lives. Do you cringe when you listen to your videos when you're talking?
I do. I mean, in the first, not as much as I do now, but
So there's some
the
things,
videos,
even when
your voice,
even when you love yourself, there's some things about you that are like, am I the one doing that? You know what I'm saying? So it's a process of loving themselves, and somebody doesn't have to be like, oh, you know what? If I don't tick off the whole, 1 Corinthians 13, then I don't love. No, it is a process. I'm still working on myself, but I'm now, I'm working on myself with the knowing and the knowledge of what real love is. Experiencing it from God. And I just know for sure. You cannot tell me a man. This is going to rub some of your... this is going to... But listen, don't come for me. But a man who does not love God, I don't think they can love you. I'm sorry for saying that. But because they do not know what love is.
That is why it's very conditional. I used to ask my husband, this is off, it's not a marriage thing, but I used to ask my husband, baby, why do you love me? And he used to say, there's no reason why I love you. And I used to find it so weird. Like, and I think it was because, I mean, the world view of love is someone should love you because you're beautiful, because you're smart, because you bring something to the table. So my husband, every time he used to say, baby, I just love you. I just love you. And I'm like, okay, that's nice. And he hates the song that says, I love you because you love me. That song, he's like, I hate that song because it's very selfish.
Yeah,
You're
because the
loving
moment you
someone
stop
because
loving me, I'm not gonna love you anymore, which
But-
is wrong.
yes, but when you go back to the scriptures, we didn't do anything for Jesus to love us. We didn't
Yeah.
do. I mean, we are very undeserving of his love.
Ooh.
We are very undeserving. Who are we that he's mindful of us?
Yeah.
People who are very sinful, unworthy, but he loved us so much that he gave the most precious son that he had. Something so precious to him. He's like, you can go and go give your life for them. So if the man doesn't love you like that, because the Bible says that husbands should love their wives as Christ loved the church. So that's why I brought in that, because you say that if a man doesn't know God, they can't love you.
Yeah.
The world is so selfish, and out of the love in the world is very, very selfish. That's why when things become difficult in a relationship, people go. In a marriage, they go because in the foundation of that was conditional. I loved her when she was younger. I loved her when she was in shape. I loved her when she wasn't sick. I loved her when we had money. And when all those things are gone, there is nothing. But remember our Father,
Yeah.
who loved us when we're nothing.
Yeah.
His love doesn't go. Whether we disappoint him or not, it's there.
And that love like can change a life. You know, sometimes we get like so rigid and we're like,
Yeah.
oh, this cannot change. But let me even the
That's the
hardest
love
of
that
souls.
breaks, yes.
I remember, as you were saying that, it brought me like, we are so undeserving of the love that the Lord shows us.
Yeah,
I remember at the time I encountered the Lord, He, you know, I had this, rejection, which, you know, that's why I was doing everything I was doing, because I needed to be loved,
to be loved,
accepted,
to be
and all that.
seen.
And then I
To be
remember
seen.
to be seen. We love to be seen. Our generation, like, not even our generation, the Gen Zs. I need to be seen. You don't see me. You don't. They're gonna come for me, right? So,
Okay.
one of the things that the Lord told me, I mean, like that day when I encountered Him, you know, I had this constant thing that I was like, nobody likes me, because even my mother tried to abort me and all that, right? And guess what? He said, you were mine before you were your mother's. That changed my heart.
God,
That changed my
that
heart.
was so.
Somebody owning
that
you and
was
said, even
so
before
sweet.
the
Yeah.
person you think had the greatest love for you
Yeah.
loved you, I loved you. And it had no reason.
Did you cry?
Girl, it was messy.
My
But you
emotional
don't
bag.
but you can understand, but that's what healed my heart.
Yeah.
That's what healed me, and I realized the day that I am enough. And I remember I went on my socials, because I'm radical like that.
I know you, baby.
I went on my socials and I said, I am a child of God.
So that was
So
really,
that's where it came from, because for me it was no longer my mother has to love me, or somebody else has to love me, or that's where my process started. By knowing that I am enough, I'm loved regardless of anything I do. I realized that actually that it all begins with God.
That was so sweet.
It was like I was like older, but like that's where for me my journey started. And how do you feel, because for you, I know you got to know God like at the very beginning. How did you feel, like, you know, knowing that love, or you didn't even know there was a missing piece? Like
I didn't know. Like
you didn't know how it feels like to not love yourself.
No.
Right.
I didn't know. I didn't know at all what it feels not to love yourself. I mean, like I said, from a very young age, I made God as my father, and that changed for me. That's a game changer. His love felt so real, like I've shared before, that it felt real. Like my mom told me that I gave you to Jesus when you're young, and he took you to school. So for me, even when I got into my private time to talk to him, when I was thanking him, I up until now, I told him, you took me through school, you paid me. So for me, it feels like he literally paid my tuition, took me to school, never withheld anything good for me. So it feels real like that. So I never felt any kind of emptiness and gap when it comes to that about self-love. So I don't know how to say it. I don't want to say I don't know how it feels,
No,
but
it's good, because
yeah. So I
like,
didn't grow up knowing that. Even when I didn't have like so many friends at school, even when I was misunderstood, like there was nothing. And because of that, I didn't really struggle with people pleasing. I was so full. I was
Because you didn't have to.
because I didn't have to, because I
Yeah.
think his love filled me, and that's the most beautiful thing.
Mm.
It gives you so much confidence, not because you're perfect. I am not a perfect person, and not because I don't have questions or challenges, but my identity is solely in him, and his love
Right.
is filled. That is why I could be able to identify good friendships, love that
Because
is,
you know what
yeah,
it's
because
I remember the video we posted on our TikTok
yeah.
about who's good at like discerning things, and I know you do have that because it's like you can smell something wrong from like a mile away,
Yeah.
because like you had a very good template
Yeah.
of
I
how
did.
love should be.
Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, I agree 100%. Jesus is everything.
He's everything.
He's
And I
everything.
think people who are out there who are like looking for relationships, like that should be a caution. I mean, this is how she grew up with God from the beginning, with no dad. But guess what? She never felt like that.
But
And
I
I
had the
grew with
best
both.
dad.
Right. I grew up with both my parents in the house.
Yeah.
My daddy coming or every day I work, and I struggle with those things. So it's not even about how you grew up.
Yeah.
It's not about, but it's just having God in your
Yeah.
life. And that right there,
Is everything.
it's something you should look at.
Yeah.
Even before you go into relationships, that's very important. I know this is the feelings and faith podcast. Don't go by the feelings. First, love yourself. First, love
And
yourself.
there is no way. Sorry.
No.
There is no way you can love yourself unless you know who
You know
Jesus
God.
is.
Right.
So if you're watching the podcast and you don't know who Jesus is, this is your time, because in him he is a true love.
Amen.
He's a foundation of love, and only him knows what true love is. So that is the first step. So if you're wondering, you're like, oh my god, where do I start from? That is a part where you start from. And when you develop a strong relationship with him, you understand what love is, and you will know how to love yourself. He will teach you. He's a teacher. He will teach you. He'll teach you how
Yeah.
to love yourself, and things will be.
He told me.
I mean, she's a testimony.
Right.
So
yeah, that's good. And just let us know what you think. But as we stated, we don't think you can love yourself. You can love somebody else without loving yourself. So let us know what you think in the comment section, because this is just two girls that love Jesus and their opinions. So just let us know what you think. We love you guys. Bye.